Adam Cook, I'm hungover, tired. My head feels like it's out in space. You could say it feels adrift.
Right.
Far too early for this type of stuff.
You're adrift in space, because I've played through Adrift.
Have you now? No.
I have.
Adrift's an interesting one. I've liked the look of this,
Very.
and it's got an interesting story behind it with the whole personal experience angle and whatnot. So, why don't you lay it on me? How is Adrift?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know if there's enough video on the video space on the internet for me to talk about my thoughts on this game.
Okay.
Interesting is the right word for it. I will start with a positive.
Okay.
Because I think it's possibly the best looking game I've ever played.
That is certainly high praise.
Well, I'm playing on PC, I should say, and on top settings and everything. And I'm not playing it in VR. I don't have any access to VR. I'm not sure I'd want to play it in VR. I know we spoke to Mikey about it, and I think it would make me very sick because you are constantly floating. The entire game you don't touch ground. You are floating for the whole game. Okay.
Jesus.
The concept is that something has happened. The space station has had some catastrophic event. It's broken up all over the place, and you need to survive and get back to Earth, essentially, right?
Okay.
Now, the problem starts... Well, it doesn't start immediately. Basically, your suit is some sort of smart suit, smart space.
Is it? Have you seen The Martian?
Probably.
Right, the one with Matt Damon's lost in the Mars, that one.
No, sorry, no, I haven't.
Right.
I want to.
Well, for listeners, I won't spoil it, but basically, near the end, he uses his suit, he puts a hole in the hand of his spacesuit so he can use the oxygen in it to propel himself. Is it kind of like that?
It's exactly like that, bar the whole thing. Basically, this suit... everything this suit can do uses your oxygen because your suit is apparently damaged, and leaking oxygen.
So it's not recycling it, I take it?
No, it's basically, I guess it should be. I don't know, it never really tells you that. Basically, so if by moving forward, you use up a little bit of oxygen.
Okay.
So you use the fact that because there's the gravity, the lack of gravity means if you propel forward, you will keep moving forward, but achingly slow, so slow that it makes everybody's gone to the Rapture look like Vanquish or something. It's way slower because it also kind of has to be slower because it's in space. So if you were just boosting around, it would just... Because the thing about this is how I imagine space to be, like in real life. It does that really well.
Like, can you not hear explosions and stuff as well? Stuff like that? Is it like...
Well, there's not. It's kind of all happened. There's not. Okay. That's not. There's no explosions.
Can you hear anything
really.
then? If you get me from outside in the space, because
sound is trouble. Yeah, because there's bits where there's like electric stuff you have to get through, and I'm pretty sure you can hear that now I think about it. But the problem is, right, because your oxygen's depleting, you have to pick up oxygen canisters to replenish it.
Yep.
Now, as long as you're going where the waypoint marker, but you basically click the right stick and it pings the map. That's part of the spacesuit's ability. It's all real smart and futuristic. I think it's 2027. Okay. I haven't written it down, but it's around then. So it's in the future. So you ping that. As long as you're going there, generally speaking, there will be like a big box that's broken open and it's released canisters, 2 or 3 of them to replenish. Also, once you're inside the space station, there are machines you can go up to and literally inject your suit with a full tank of oxygen, right? Okay. So it kind of makes sense, but it feels by the end of it like... I mean, we spoke to Adam Orth, Subsea did, and he was like, he buckled under the fact when he said, is it a walking simulator? He really didn't seem to like
my question, if I remember correctly.
It might have been, yeah, but the thing about that is it feels like if they'd just gone with that and accepted it is a walking simulator.
Instead of trying to be a game.
Instead of trying to gamify it, which I hate saying, but it's the only word that works here, I think it would have been a better game because...
It's more about the experience of it.
It is, and this world is so gorgeous. Like the moments, and you'll be seeing it in the video, but even on a YouTube, I'll render it as high as we can, but it's not going to be the same as seeing it on your own screen. It is incredible with the way the Earth comes into view, and you're just like, fuck, Yeah. There's a moment as the game progresses, like time passes. So where you've been looking down now and again, and you see the Earth.
And is it different? Parts that's cool.
Well, I don't. I think it is, but more than that, this is the cool thing: is that you see like the greens and the blues of Earth. Later on in the game, that will change. You'll go back outside. Time's passed. Now it's blacks and neons, where everyone's turned their lights on.
That is so amazing.
It is incredible, and the visuals are why I recommend this game.
Okay.
Because on top of the oxygen thing being a bit of a because by the end, the thing is, there's loads of collectibles, right?
Okay.
But to get them, often you'll ping them and you'll be like, I see it on that broken off bit of ship. but I don't see any oxygen, so you kind of got to get over there and get
without
back.
oxygen? Like, can you go off the beaten path much without the oxygen tank?
Yes, and a lot of the story is basically doled out through collectibles and computers and audio logs, right? So you do want to see them, but I found it's too much busy work here. Like, basically go to a place, pick up a thing, take it to a place that then you put it in the thing and it tells you, right, you need to do these things to reboot this system. So you go off and do those 2 things, come back, reboot the system, and you get a suit upgrade. Like first of one you get is it doubles your oxygen now your oxygen is full. And you do that kind of 3 or 4 times, and it's like, I'm just doing the same thing, and I don't feel like, I feel like it's lost its luster by that point.
Yeah, yeah. It's like they've not just accepted what it is. They've tried to.
Yeah,
they've had the stigma against it.
It's got, it's almost like it's got to be longer than 2 or 3 hours. We've got it because it's four and a bit, I'd say.
Okay.
That's not the biggest problem. I can accept that. I would imagine in VR with a good set of headphones on, when she gasps for life and finally dies.
Okay.
It's incredibly tense and horrible. But by the end of the game, the tension was removed, and I was just pissed off. I was like, "Fuck's sake! Can I just please get?" I don't find that the map's actually as good as it thinks it is, and I found myself going to the wrong place.
Okay.
Because it's the arrow's pointing forward, and then it's like you keep going forward, and then suddenly the arrow's behind you, and it's like, oh, you meant forward as in up, because it's a 360 degree
so it's not
space thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless maybe I'm thick and I totally misread it, but that is all. That's okay. The problem I had is that I never in the entire time got a good idea on how tall or big the woman you're playing Alex is.
Stuff like that does mean as well, like perspective issues and that. I had it, like, I absolutely love Gone Home, but like my one complaint about it is like it's slightly different. Like the woman in it feels like she's about 3 foot tall. Like, right, she might well be. Right, that's not racist against small people. But
that's not actually the problem though. Because you do see yourself in shadows and stuff, right?
Right.
The problem is that doors open and stuff. Like doors go when you go through the door. I kept banging, I assume, my legs on the floor.
Okay.
And that knocks, and she goes, oh, and it affects your health. Because essentially your oxygen bar is your energy bar.
Oh, so it's actually an effect on the game.
I think so, because, and towards the end, where you're getting a bit frustrated at the pace, and you're getting a bit frustrated that you've gone the wrong way, I was just constantly banging into stuff, and it's like, she's wearing a big old spacesuit, like, surely...
Why can't she touch the floor?
Well, why can't she touch the floor? Why is like her catching her little toe on, why is it having this effect? And it feels again like a gamey thing that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, I get.
Because you can't see your legs outside of shadows being cast.
Okay,
so you I can't look down and see it.
Need to give you a bit more context. I just never got a handle on it. Like where your hit markers are.
Well, I wonder if maybe in VR you can look down and see your legs, but I couldn't because the spacesuit is big, isn't it? It surrounds your head. So again, it's a concession that's not been made because it's a game. Yeah. I don't know.
It feels like if they're doing stuff like that, they should have probably been in third person so you can actually see the whole body.
But then I don't think the game would work. Yeah, I don't think it would work because it is honestly, one of the best looking games I've ever seen. The story is the last thing I'll mention.
Yeah, what's it like?
I'm frightened that I'm over analysing it
because of what he said.
But he did say it was a personal story based on his experiences at Microsoft, and if that's the case, this is not an apology game. Quite the opposite. More of an unapologetic game of like, it feels to me like he said I didn't do anything wrong. And again, I don't know how...
Like, for the listeners and for me, because I can't remember, what was the story about him at Microsoft?
So when the always online stuff came out for Xbox One's announcement, and people, I think he was questioned about, what about people who don't have online connections? He said, deal with it.
Oh, okay? Yeah, I remember.
Now, in this game, a roboty voice actually says, always online. And there's stuff in here that's like, toe the party line, I was only doing... sometimes you just have to do what the party wants you to do, the company wants you to do. It's about the company, not about you. And it's like, yes. But it felt like a chance to say... This felt like a chance to be humble and say, I fucked up, and I'm a human being. Because there are elements of it. There are moments where it's like, there's a direct reference to the abuse he got, because he got a lot. Yeah. There was a direct reference very near the end to the abuse that people can get for mistakes, and I feel like if there was more of that and less of the kind of on the nose stuff, because although that's still on the nose, like I think it is right near the end, and it's like you know, you did this, you did that, you know, blah blah blah, this happened, and you're getting shit for it, and you know, this is what happens. But I just feel like, I mean, maybe if you collect every audio log, there's more of that, because there are elements of that. I don't know. It's
they do say like the best storytelling is like you take your personal experience and make it so like you make it easy to interpret, so everyone can understand it and relate to it, not be so, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess on the nose, just so on the nose
it's
about that specific thing.
It's a bit blasé. I mean, the similes throughout the game from the... I mean, the woman's called Alex that you play as, but they may as well have just made it a man and called him Adam. Like, you know? Which would have been great for me. But anyway, listen. This is a game I am hugely conflicted on, because I think people should play it because it is so incredible looking. Like, it's one of those games, it's a showcase. Like, you look at it and like, this is what space games... I was moaning about this the other day, like how there's no space games. This is it. This is a space game. Some are going to be put off by the pace because it is very slow. There are moments where you're so low on oxygen, you just push forward and you just let that motion slowly draw you towards
sounds
somewhere.
agonising, I can imagine.
Exactly, and it can be, and that's almost a good thing if you think about it, because that's what they're going for: the isolation, the loneliness.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it's I don't know. Look, you know, it's hard to get that balance, I must say. So
it is.
I appreciate them for like trying to go for the realistic angle, but then in other areas it doesn't work quite as well. So it's a weird one. It seems. Anyway.
It's a very strange game, but it is one worth experiencing if you can up it up with the pace, because it is very slow. So if you like this, and you like us, then go to patreon.com/godisgeek and you can get early videos, longer podcasts, all some manner of good stuff. Otherwise, follow Dan at Mabroski on Twitter, myself at GBSF, of course at godisgeek, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Should have backed the God is a Geek Patreon.